Above and Beyond, the real estate show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Above and Beyond Real Estate Show. My name is Ralph Ciancio, broker of record here at RE/MAX Hallmark Ciancio Group, and I have a wonderful guest. Isn't she wonderful?
Mrs. Wonderful.
Well, yeah, maybe. That's I think that's Kevin O'Leary's wife, but I could be wrong. We have Carley De Beer joining us on today's episode, and it's going to be a great one. Today we're going to be breaking down the market stats. So the October stats are in for Toronto Real Estate Board. We're going to take a snapshot of that, and then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, where we're going to break down our 8-step process on becoming a homeowner. So we've broken it down through years of work in helping home buyers. We've come up with a plan, and we're going to share that plan with you. So before we get into it, Carley, first off, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm amazing. I mean, it's another great day. It's sunny outside. It was a little bit cloudy last week, so I'm loving the sun, and my plants are loving the sun, so it's a good day.
Yeah, it must be sad as the sun is setting, and you know the plants need the sun. It's like must be
They're
tougher.
sleeping now. It's like hibernation for plants. You don't have to water them as much, so those plant killers out there, now is the time for you to get a plant, because they're going to survive all winter long.
Bring them inside.
Yeah.
When I bring them inside and they die, I feel like it's all my fault. If you buy a plant and it's outside, I'm like, hey, listen, that's
Mother Nature was not good to you this year. Not my problem.
Yeah. So as we jump into the market stats, I wanted to break down some key numbers. And we looked at the numbers in October for Toronto Real Estate Board. Again, they have Market Watch, which has comes out monthly. If you want a copy of the report, simply send us an email, and that email is listed above. We have market stats at ralphcianciohomes.com, and we'll flip you the PDF if you want it on a monthly basis. Just let us know in the email, and we're not going to spam you. Just say, hey, I'm looking for this on a monthly basis. And the reason I bring it up is sometimes people want us to go a lot deeper into the data, and some people just want the highlights. And we want to give you what you're looking for and contour that experience. So just before we get into market stats, I want to also remind you, please subscribe, like, and comment down below key elements of the episode that you enjoyed, and any positive and even negative feedback. Well, we don't like negative feedback, but we learn from negative feedback. But don't forget to subscribe and share. So as we talk about market stats, we look at the average price for a home in the GTA was $1,089,000 last month. Now that's actually up $3,000 compared to the month before, but we're actually down almost 6% compared to last year. So let's unpack that stat, which is we are down year over year, October versus last year, and we are up $3,000 versus September. What does that mean to you, Carley?
Yeah, I feel like, we're hitting the bottom of the market. I know a lot of people were, planning on timing the market, especially those who sold in January, February, March, definitely wanted to get out at the top, and, they wanted to get back in at the bottom. And now I feel like we're at the bottom. Definitely this data suggests that for sure. And, we're seeing, a little bit less listings come up, and, not a whole lot of going down in price, but also not going up in price. So I feel like we're at the bottom, we're sliding sideways, and this is the chance for those people who are waiting to get a great deal on a home. I feel like we're there right now.
Yeah, absolutely. When you start seeing prices go up, I mean, there's always that saying, you never know when you're at the bottom until things start going up.
Yeah.
And some people are waiting, and we've seen this through a couple of cycles that I've been a part of in the real estate market, and people they're still waiting as it starts to go back up, because they're waiting for it to come back down. Yeah. And once you miss it, it's gone. So, we are seeing a kind of momentum moving upward, and keep in mind that we did see a 0.5% increase in the interest rate in the middle of October, near the end of October. So that was also some downward pressure on pricing. What I've noticed in the stats is that when we look at the levels of inventory, we're actually 10% lower inventory compared to last month, but we are 68% more inventory compared to last year. So what does that mean? That means that, last year in October, someone that wanted to buy a home in Toronto had 7,700 homes to choose from. And, this October they had 13,000. So that's a big difference in terms of the quantity of properties for sale. But the context to that is that we were in a very restrictive market last year in October. Those restrictions were being lifted. So when we see those numbers, it also supports pricing being where it was, because if there wasn't much inventory on the market, that means obviously prices would be pushed upwards. Yeah. My overall sense of where we're at in the market is that, the hottest properties are still selling. Homes that are priced extremely low with a bidding war have about a 50-50 chance of success. 50% of the time we're seeing homes just relist at fair market pricing, whereas maybe a few months ago you had almost 100% success rate in underpricing the home. So we're seeing, less agents and less sellers taking that approach. But that being said, we're watching it. It's on a day-by-day basis, but we do try to keep an eye on not only what the context of today, we look at it within the month, and we also compare it to previous years. So we want to make sure when people are making a decision of this magnitude that they're getting kind of many different point of views, right?
Exactly. They're getting the full story. So they're making the most informed decision that they can.
Yeah. And, you talk about full story. One of the pet peeves we have on the show is, the news only sensationalizing, especially the bad news, right?
Always the bad news,
They only want to focus on how things are not going well. And the reality is homeownership is a great thing. I think it's one of the critical things, my own personal belief, to be successful in Canada. Things that work in your favor is if you have a driver's license and if you own real estate. Those are the two things that help empower you. It's not mandatory, but it's really difficult in this country, in my opinion, to navigate without a driver's license and without owning real estate. It's very difficult to get out of the rat race of just paying bills and not owning anything.
For sure. I mean, it's one of those assets that goes up over time consistently. Yeah. So they're not making more land, so you might as well get some while it's still fresh.
You got it. And, the theme of today's show is, the 8 steps of finding the right home. And we have come up with a guide. Actually, you have a copy of the guide. Do you want to just show?
Yeah, I do. We have...
Home buyer's process. So we've identified what are the key steps that people need to go through before they actually purchase a home. We've diarized it, and we have copies for people if they want a free copy. Again, you could just send an email to buyersguide@ralphcianciohomes.com, and we'll flip you a PDF of it. Or if you want a paper copy, come visit us on Main Street, Unionville, in the heart of Markham.
Yeah.
And we'd love to take you up for a coffee and walk you through the guide and make sure it's really customized for your needs.
Yeah. There's a lot of extra information. We'll go over, a general understanding of what you'll find in there, but there's a lot of extra information beyond what we'll be able to touch on today. So
amazing. So let's run through it. 8 steps on how to buy a home in the GTA.
Yeah, so the first step is getting pre-approved for a mortgage.
Yeah, so getting pre-approved is important because, especially in the market we're at right now, where interest rates are changing, lending policies are changing, buyers have to make sure that they are definitely, they're comfortable with the cost of borrowing, comfortable with not being house poor, but there's another risk in there, and we've seen it where people actually under-purchase. They stay too conservative. And you may say, well, why is that a problem? Well, if you're too conservative and you're going to outgrow the home in 2 years, that's very expensive as well.
Yeah.
Moving is expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Just physically moving your items from one house to another is one cost, paying an agent to sell the house, and then, purchasing a house is another cost. And then, of course, like the stress, of having to find the next property and, navigating the sale is another cost.
And the taxes, land transfer tax.
Yeah, definitely.
Moving fees and so on.
And if you didn't set up your mortgage correctly.
Yeah, absolutely right.
That's
and then
the cancellation, yeah.
So that blends in perfectly with the first step, which is getting pre-approved from a mortgage. I mean, I think a lot of people are focused on mortgages in terms of what's the interest rate that you would pay for the mortgage, but there's a lot of other elements in the mortgage that a great lender will walk you through. So can you bring the mortgage to another property? So portability, right? Is it convertible? Can it be passed on to somebody else, right? If interest rates were to spike to 12%, well, your 5% mortgage would be a great thing to sell alongside the real estate.
Yeah.
Right?
How long is your term? Because like you said, if you're under purchasing a home, you want to be able to have that flexibility. Like if you can only afford a portion now and later you're going to have to upsize, you want to make sure that you're timing your mortgage for the same term as well.
Perfect.
So the next one is choosing a real estate agent.
Yeah, so choosing an agent we think is critical. I mean, our opinion might be a little bit biased, but truthfully, they're going to be, the steward of the ship. They're going to be guiding you along the way. And, you're looking for someone that can give you confidence, somebody that can give you context to the information, and somebody that can possibly show you things that others can't. So, for example, connect you with properties that are not currently on the market, and maybe introduce you to great vendors or lenders as an example, or great lawyers. And
yeah, exactly. And also point you out to things that you might not notice when you walk through a home.
Yeah.
Like we said originally, moving from one house to another can be quite emotional. And when you're walking through the property, usually you're, thinking about, oh, my couch is going to go here. My plants are going to go there. My dog's going to run around here. And it's good to have someone kind of behind you, making sure that, everything is in order so that when you move into the house that things are moving along smoothly and it's something that you can handle and navigate and it works for your family. So that's another big proponent.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that when you find someone who's looking after your needs, the real estate fits into the puzzle as opposed to trying to find a home that just, you can purchase. It doesn't necessarily meet all your needs. I think a superpower of an agent is that they can balance between the different parts of your brain. We know and we understand that people make decisions emotionally, but then they justify them rationally. Right? That's human nature.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's human nature.
So, one of the tactics that I explicitly do, and I tell the clients we're working with, that I'm gonna know and understand, you and your family's needs. Mm-hmm. And if I see that in a situation where we're going to see a home, you're extremely rational about it, I'm gonna really focus on the emotional side of this approach. And if I see you're very, very emotional about it, I'm gonna focus on the rational side. Because it's really important that you're making the decision with both sides of your brain.
Definitely.
And I know a lot of people just hire an agent that they may know, someone that they get
or
along
like a family
with,
member, yeah.
But they've never sold a home, or they sold, 3 homes in their life. They have a part-time job. They don't have the experience on the ground. And it's like the blind leading the blind. Whereas you want someone that's navigated through the process and can give you the confidence, because that's essentially what this all boils down to, is putting the pen to paper, right?
Yeah, and you want to make sure you're making the right decision.
Yeah.
Definitely. So the next one is one of my favorite steps, is start hunting for homes.
Ooh, hunting. Hunting is a scary word. But you know what? It's an exciting time. I know Carley loves, the journey, the excitement. As agents, it's so exciting for us because every day we turn a key. And it's like we're on a game show. It's like we have no idea what's inside there, and
sometimes it matches the photos, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. That's so the house hunting process is important. And again, once you've calibrated with the lender, you've calibrated with an agent, and you're out seeing properties, you're now calibrating with the market. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And you want to make sure that it's close to your work, the right amount of bedrooms, if you're going to have a pool or not. Like those are all the kind of things that you calibrate at that time as well, along with the price that you can afford and what that kind of product look like. So the next thing is becoming an educated buyer.
Yeah, and I think you hit on some of the points in terms of becoming an educated buyer. There's a lot more to buying a home than just actual structure and the walls. There's, are there parks close by? What's the crime rate in the community? We look at things like, school ratings or the experience in the school, public transit access, and then future projects, right? Is there like a big highway being built? Mm-hmm. Is there a big infrastructure that could compromise how you enjoy it, right?
Yeah, or adding a school or community center, or, a lot of neighborhoods that are a little bit more rural, going from, septic to municipal,
yeah.
And what kind of cost that's to you, but also, a benefit for the future buyer and for the neighborhood. So those are all kind of things you start to consider at this stage.
Yeah, and we have seen scenarios where people have bought the right house in the wrong area, mm-hmm. and that's a mistake, that's a fail. Mm-hmm. And I've seen where people buy the wrong house in the right area, that's also a fail, mm-hmm. right? So we can't change the area, we can't change the house. Mm-hmm. Well, you can change the house, but again, that's expensive, to a certain degree, yeah. And we don't want to. Yeah. So the key thing is buying the right house in the right community.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Right? And, by the end of that step, hopefully you know exactly what you're looking for and where it's going to be. So the next one is making an offer. Yeah.
So making an offer, that's when we put the pen to paper. Every offer that we write is broken down into 4 different items. So we have price, deposit, closing date, and conditions. So those 4 elements make every single offer that we write on behalf of our clients. And we're going to break down these 4 elements and how to strategize to create a great offer. We're going to break that down in a future episode, but for, summary of this topic, making an offer is a great opportunity for you to see, are you calibrated with the market? Because sometimes we've seen it where buyers, especially in this market, they mm-hmm. see a home they like, it's in the community they like, they may be offering at a price that the seller is not willing to accept, mm-hmm. and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Now that might be the buyer is too conservative with their number, or it could be that the seller's too optimistic on the value of their home.
For sure. And you see both, right? You know, like right now, people who are selling might have even started trying to sell in April, right? Right after the peak of the market. And they were overshooting, and they're slowly coming down, but they're still, you know, too high for what the market value is. And then you have buyers now who waited since March. They saw that what was happening then, and now they're undercutting. So it's like you have the seller maybe going a little bit high and the buyer going a little bit low because they both have the different perspective of, you know, what they think the property is worth. And eventually, you know, you hope to beat it in the middle, but sometimes it can be tricky.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, what, to that point, we do see anomalies. You know, maybe, for example, the average percentage of asking maybe is 98% or 97% currently. But there are some homes that sell for 85%. There are some homes that sell for 108%. So until you actually draw an offer, you never really know. We have seen it where buyers sit on the sidelines and say, no, I'm not going to offer. And then it sells and they say, shoot, I want to pay that.
And it was in their range, you know? Yeah. And they're like, oh, they didn't want to offend, you know? But sometimes you just gotta try. Yeah. So the next one is...
What number are we at? What number are we at
right
now?
Yes, we're at number 6 now.
Number 6.
Yeah, choosing your winning team.
Choosing your winning team. Now we call winning team, you know, the professionals that are along this journey with you. So obviously we talked already about lenders. We've talked about the realtor, but you're also very likely, if you're buying a home, you're going to likely need a home inspector, right? That's something that most people don't know or not connected with, because home inspectors don't market to the general public. They market to realtors. They build relationships with realtors. So again, if you're working with an experienced realtor who buys and sells, you know, real estate, you know, frequently they'll probably have an established relationship with someone that they, you know, feel is competent and doing great work. So home inspection is important. And then we also talk about movers and lawyers as well. And between movers and lawyers and even inspectors, everything's okay until it's not, right? and we've seen it where movers have, you know, people have hired an inexperienced mover, and then they have a catastrophe on closing, or they may hire a lawyer who's just communicating very poorly. Maybe there's some administrative mistakes, and that these things all create massive uncertainty and doubt, and stress unnecessarily.
Yes, definitely. So
selecting your winning team.
Yeah, and it's a good thing, you know, we do it so often that we have, you know, a bunch of people in our back pocket that we like to, you know, that we know, like, and trust, and that we want to share with our clients. So we've tried them out. Yeah. We've sussed them out so you don't have to. Yeah, exactly. Which is good. So the next one, number 7, is preparing for your move.
Yeah, preparing for your move. So, you know, we pride ourselves on the process of not only finding the right home, but then getting you into the right home. And I know Carley spends a lot of time throughout the day, you know, guiding our clients from after they've signed the agreement to make sure, hey, listen, today's a great day for you to set up your Rogers or Bell account.
You know, transfer your utilities, mail forwarding, you know, talking to your friends and family, transferring over your gym membership, Amazon, that's a big one.
H&M.
Yeah, H&M. You don't want your nice sweater going to the people who bought your house. You already gave them a nice house. You don't need to give them a sweater. So switch it over. You know, it's important. That's the gift
that keeps on giving, is that Amazon one-click purchase, and you're like, oh, where's my stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Then you feel awkward. It's like, man, I sent some like measuring spoons to the guy, and like, do I go there for my measuring spoons? I mean, they match the rest
exactly.
of the set.
Excuse me, can I borrow a spoon? But
exactly. So, you know, there's a lot of small things that sometimes you overlook, but we have a great list that we send to all of our clients to help make sure that they navigate that process smoothly and that nothing gets missed. Yeah,
amazing.
So yeah. The next one.
So prepare for your move. What number are we at now? Number 8. 8. What's 8? 8.
Move in and celebrate.
Hey, there we are. Celebrate. Oh, Jesus.
That was like
getting shot at, but that was us celebrating. This is what we do.
We thought it was good.
Hey, still, that's nice.
I'm not sure that I would take the hat off. I'm going to keep it on. I'm going to keep it on.
You bought a house today. That's exciting. You moved in. So, you know, celebrate is definitely a fun way to, it's a milestone. It's something you look back at. You remember your move-in date.
It's probably the biggest purchase you'll ever make.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, sometimes it can feel overwhelming and stressful, but, you know, at the end of the day, you made a big investment for your life that later it's going to end up being your nest egg, something that, is really going to add to your life. So, and a place for your family, for you to hold celebrations. Like there's so many things that center around the home, and, you just got to.
You're absolutely right. And I think that what you're describing is, again, the emotional side of buying a home. And that's the thing that sometimes people miss when they're looking at like marginal change in the interest rate, or did the house prices go down 3,000 or up 5,000? The reality is 85% of Canadians are highly leveraged, means they get a big mortgage on their home. So the difference between $3,000, $5,000, even $20,000 on a purchase price, really for all intents and purposes, it's almost negligible in terms of the mortgage on the monthly carrying cost if you spread it over 25 years. But if it's the home you love, if it's the home that you raise your family in, or invite your friends over, I always think about leaving the airport when I'm coming home from a trip. It doesn't matter how great a trip is. I'm always excited once I get my luggage and I get my car and I'm driving home. And I always think, where am I going? When I'm helping a client, I think, where will they be returning to after a long trip? And that's home, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the nice thing about having a great realtor is they're there for you for the rest of the time that you own that home.
Yeah.
You need any tips about, preparing your home for winter and all the different, life stages of the home, renovations, what's going to add to the value. Yeah. We're there for you guys every step. So,
and even watching out for trends, right? Like, hey, in the start of this year, we made a lot of phone calls and there were a lot of emails sent out to our clients saying, hey guys, the market feels very frothy. It might be a time for you to consider a move. And a lot of the clients that we reached out to said, hey, you know what? Thanks for reaching out. Yes, we'll put our house for sale. And they've sold and they've made hundreds of thousands of dollars in that transition. So, yeah.
Exactly. We're there for you guys every step of the way. So,
yeah. So that's, I guess, brings us towards the wrap. We have our 8 points of successfully buying a home, or 8 steps to a buyer's journey. And again, if you want a copy of that, just you can click on the link in the bio or send an email to buyersguide@ralphcianciohomes.com. And before we wrap up, we hope that you've enjoyed the show. We look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and it's celebration time. So we're going to start dancing now. This is, I was going to say, post-production is going to be doing some... dun, 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 dun. It's a party going on right here. Celebration. If you like what you saw, check out these other videos on our channel. Please like, subscribe, follow, comment, whatever this thing is prompting you to do. If there's some buttons around my head, just click on them. It'll be worth it.